Let's give Commissioner Johnson a hand, ladies and gentlemen. Many of you who watch Tom Joyner know that he is the hardest working man in radio. Well, I submit that our Commissioner Larry Johnson is the hardest working man in DeKalb County government. And he's doing a great job with his new leadership position. Good evening. My name is Gwen Keys Fleming, and it's my pleasure to serve as your district attorney here in DeKalb County. I've had that honor since January of 2005, and we've done a lot of great things in the DA's office. When I was first elected, I promised the citizens that we would provide three things in particular, those being that protection, prevention, and peace of mind. Protection, obviously, in the traditional notions of what I do as a prosecutor. Been a prosecutor now for 16 years. Both at the misdemeanor and felony level. And the office that I run has 161 people, about a $12 million budget, and we handle somewhere between 11,000 and 12,000 charges every year. So unfortunately, it's a busy office. Many of you can turn on the news at night and see just how busy we are. That's kind of how I know what's coming to my office the next day. And so we operate, those 161 people operate in 10 divisions of state court here in DeKalb County. I have about 48, 49 attorneys that are assigned not only to those divisions of state court, but also various specialty units. We have a special unit to focus on crimes against children. Anytime that a child is physically or sexually abused, I have 4 attorneys that are dedicated to that. I have 2 attorneys that are dedicated to domestic violence and sexual assault cases. As you might imagine, those have some unique issues and things, experts and DNA requirements and all of those kinds of things for a lot of the sexual assault cases where we have DNA matches, and so we've got some attorneys there. We also have some dedicated attorneys in our gang unit, which is relatively new still. It was started in April or May of 2007, so I encourage you to get one of the gang brochures from off the back. Unfortunately, that is something else we're starting to see grow in the county, but I can tell you that at the same time we started our gang unit in 2007, the police department added about 10 more officers to their gang unit. So for the last 2 years, 2.5 years, we've been working diligently together, and what I've been told from the department is that we are now starting to see some positive effects, and hopefully y'all are feeling them, of a decrease in the gang activity in our streets. We've been able to convict some of the higher level gangs. We've had some instances where gangs have been responsible for 20 acts of violence in an 18-day period, and so we've been able to hold them accountable as much as the law would allow us to do so. So we're working, and obviously we're not there yet, believe me. We're trying to stay ahead of the crime and working to make sure that we suppress it faster than it happens. And so we're trying to dedicate a lot of resources to that. We have also in the office something new that there's more of an emphasis on is we have one attorney and one investigator that are assigned on a part-time basis to handle public integrity cases. We hear very clearly from the citizens that they want to have members in government, whether it's an appointed or elected office, or really any employee of a government agency, that are going to operate with integrity and do the right thing and be good stewards of what you as citizens have trusted us with. Unfortunately, there are people that don't see it that way. And particularly in this economy, we're starting to see all kinds of financial crimes increase. And so again, we want to make sure that we are responsive. And so that unit you may see grow in the next, I guess, when the economy turns around, but it is something we're trying to focus on. One of the things that Commissioner Johnson mentioned and we were very grateful for, as I said, that's all under the protection arm. We also, under prevention, have a lot of community programs. The Solicitor General and I have been going out for the last 1.5 years or so doing crime prevention tours. We actually came here, what was it, about 6 months ago, 8 months ago? And so again, we come out to not only educate you about what we're doing in the courthouse, but also to hear from you about what's important to you in the community. I've always said that safe communities do not begin in the courthouse. They begin right here with all of you. And we want to make sure that we're accessible to you so that you can tell us what we need to focus on. We can kind of craft ways to work together to combat some of these problems. And we try to do it on a quarterly basis, so hopefully next year when we come back, hopefully we've eradicated the first problem, or at least put it in check a little bit and can start working on some new ones together. So that's our goal there. We also have some crime prevention programs for young women right now called Just Us Gals, where we're trying to help them make better decisions. We were starting to see a huge increase in violence among our high school girls, and the school resource officers asked us to kind of put a program together to help these young ladies better focus their energies to make better life decisions, and not the decisions that would have them either be charged with a crime or become victims of a crime later on. Also under the prevention arm, thankfully this year again, because of the commissioner and so many others on the board, we have been able to make our community prosecutor position a full-time position.